that cost how much?
A portion of this video is sponsored by my favorite deodorant, Native.
Hello, and welcome back to TheSorryGirls. My name is Kelsey. This is the channel where we do DIY and design. Today's episode is special for a couple reasons. Partially because it's holiday decor, and partially because I'm gonna have a guest with me today. I guess she's gonna be here more often. You got Rachael.
Hi.
You guys probably recognize Rachael from all of our videos. Rachael's our art assistant that was too good, so we're keeping her.
Wow, thank you.
Yeah.
What an intro.
Is that good?
Yeah,
You know?
I'll take it.
So you guys are gonna see Rachael here more often, including in today's video with me, but also maybe some of your own videos. Oh my god.
I mean, not saying, but saying.
Yeah, and like, if you're worried, I don't know if you're worried, but you should not be worried. Becky's still here too. Becky is literally right here.
Becky is still here.
But you don't have a mic.
Oh, where's the mic? Hi.
I'm here still too. I'm just working on, this is too far, top secret.
Don't show
I'm
them.
working on future videos. It's gonna be good.
Yeah, I know that we're like not always together, but we're just vacationing and
Out of the list of reasons we're not together, number one is I'm on vacation.
it was not a lie. But also just like filming our own videos. Anyways, lots of fun things coming. I hope you guys are excited. Okay, I'm gonna kick you out.
I feel I'm not needed.
I'm gonna kick myself out. You are needed, what the heck?
That cost how much? That cost how much?
No, you don't know.
What don't I
Yeah,
know?
this intro.
That cost how much?
Thank you. I'm gonna go over to my table
Yeah, that makes sense in a second.
and start my DIY. Okay,
I'll be here.
Come with me. So for my first project, I'm going to be tackling some wood tree decor from Crate and Barrel. And the reason that I want to do this project is just because of the tier-worthy price tag and the DIY ability. So the Curva 18-inch whitewashed wood tree is, I'm just gonna read, I don't need to memorize it. So the 18-inch version of this tree is $109.95, and the 40-inch version is $299.95. And looking at this, I'm like, this is a DIY-able project. So that's what we're gonna do. Rach and I just figured out what we think the plan of attack is. There's many different ways you could do this, and some ideas are better than others. But we came together and we have the perfect template to use one piece of poplar 11mm plywood. So it's about a ½ inch, and this 4-foot by 2-foot piece is gonna get us the 18-inch tree and the 40-inch tree, which is like mental math. So with this piece of wood, we're gonna make $409.90 worth of wood tree decor. So we're gonna take this piece of plywood and I'm gonna draw out my template, my cut lines. So, dead. This is dead to us. Then all we need to do is mark from one corner to our midway point. Okay, so these are all good pieces. And now I'm gonna do the same thing up here. Mark my middle point. The hard part of this is just gonna be cutting it out, really. I like identifying the hardest part of the DIY so that I'm mentally prepared. So I have my pieces all cut up. You may have noticed I did a little tape trick so that you don't get like the splinters of the wood, because that happens sometimes with plywood like this. Okay, so I have all my pieces cut out. As you can see, I'll show you on the small version. We have our main like full tree side, and then we have our two other tree sides, and then the right angle corner, math, you guys remember math? Right angle, I don't know why I said that so weird and creepy, you guys remember math? So the right angles obviously go up against the middle of the tree, and we're gonna glue it together, and it's gonna be great. And I know the top looks a little whack, but we'll deal with that after. Okay, so I'm gonna get my wood glue out, and I guess my clamps and some tape, and we're gonna start putting it together. So I have both of my trees setting here, trying to get dried. Hopefully this works, it'll work. But while this dries, I wanna take a second to tell you about the deodorant I use. It's always important to be aware of the choices that we're making daily, whether it's spending too much money on home decor or our use of single-use plastics, which is why I'm really excited that I use Native deodorant and their plastic-free deodorants. Native's plastic-free deodorant uses the same formula as their regular deodorant, but with a more sustainable packaging. Their formula is aluminum-free, paraben-free, cruelty-free, and vegan. I love that it goes on easily, dries quickly, it's not sticky, and it lasts the whole day. I've been using this deodorant for a little while now. I put it through the test. Oh, I love that one. Cotton and Lily. They have a wide range of scent choices, including limited edition and sensitive scents being released all the time. So make sure you guys go check out their holiday collection, which has sugar cookie, candy cane, and fresh mistletoe, which I have no idea what fresh mistletoe smells like. So Native, you know my address. I'd love to experiment fresh mistletoe. But thank you so much for sponsoring this video. All of those scents come in plastic-free packaging.
3 plastic-free deodorants are normally $39, but if you use the link and our code SorryGirls5, you'll get 3 for $29, which is a whole 25% off.
I'm gonna hand this over to Rachel to start her project while this dries.
Hi, this might be kind of weird for you. It's a little weird for me too, but we're in this together and it's gonna be great. Next DIY is a pom-pom garland. It's from CB2? CB2. It's called the Puff White Pom-Pom Garland, and it's $44.95. I don't know if you've ever made pom-poms before, but there's zero reason that it should cost almost $50 for a string of pom-poms. That's why we're gonna make it. And if you haven't made pom-poms before, do not worry, because it is so easy. And I think I'm gonna take a seat for this. It's a relaxing task. We're gonna sit down. So on the website, it says that the pom-pom garland is 72 inches. So I'm gonna cut my leather to 72 inches. Okay, so we have our string and I feel like Martha Stewart. Everything's ready. So you're gonna take yarn, and what I've made here out of just a piece of cardboard is literally this guide, just so that all my pom-poms are gonna be generally the same size, a uniform shape. And what I think I'm gonna do is actually count how many wraps I do so that each pom-pom is actually gonna be at least close to the same size. If not the same size. So I've done 3, I believe, 4, 5, 8,
Fast forward to me.
9, 25. Just kidding, we're at 10. I'm just kidding, this is so relaxing. 25?
Sure.
25, 26, 27. Now, carefully slide this off the cardboard, and you've got this cute little bunch. And then you're gonna take your same yarn and tie it around the middle of all of those loops that you just made. And then double knot it just so that it's secure. And before I move on to the next step of how to actually finish off this pom-pom, I wanna feed the leather through this circle that I just tied around the whole thing. To make this next part a little bit easier, I'm just gonna feed a safety pin onto the end of this leather. Just through the loop, so find some separation in the rings. Before I glue it, I'm gonna slide it all the way down to the end. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and do all the rest of the balls, and then we'll come back and I'll show you how to finish it off. So I have all my pom-poms done, and I could have measured in between all of them, but I think eyeballing it is just fine. And then I just wanna secure that with like a little bit of hot glue. Okay, voila. Ici, d'accord. Forgive me for that poor French. Okay, this next part I guess can be kind of tricky, but you want to get the scissors through all the loops on each side, and then same on the other side, and you cut through them. And do not cut the cord. I don't know why, but pom-poms are just so cute. And then you do that for all the rest of them. When did this get here?
Sorry, I should have been talking that.
Oh, I can't say. Okay, now that my scarves are properly, can focus. I hope that was as satisfying as it seemed. The last step is just fluffing them out and giving them little haircuts so that You know, sometimes you get little stray guys and you want them to be as uniform as possible. But if you want, you can also brush them out a little bit too here. Just make finesse and make them pretty. Okay, so our pom-pom string is done. Look at these cutie little guys. I'm super excited to style these and see how they compare to the original. Let's do that. So the leather strands cost me $13.99, but I only used one of them and I know I'll have a use for the other ones later. So it actually only cost me $4 for the piece of leather. The pom-pom string was $9.99. I used a coupon for 40% off, which made the pom-pom string $6. Altogether, the pom-pom string cost $10, while the original one from CB2 cost $44.99. Honestly, this pom-pom string was so quick and easy to make, and I think it just looks so cute, so I highly recommend trying it out.
Okay, we're back. These trees are definitely dry. Time to sand, baby. At first I was using my edge banding by ironing it on and then using a utility knife to cut off the excess, but because of the wood grain, I actually found it hard to get a really straight cut. So I actually just started cutting the edge banding beforehand and then ironing it on. And that was the way to go. Also, you sometimes need to iron it on and then hold it in place while it cools, otherwise it's not gonna sit flush necessarily. Okay, I took a quick little intermission and I experimented with some staining here. I actually put my edge banding on my spare piece and I think I figured out how I'm gonna get the same kind of color vibe that the Crate and Barrel ones have, which is kind of gray, a little whitewash, and seemingly a little bit warmer than my wood. So what I figured out is that a little bit of gray paint with water, a little bit of like a tanny paint with water, and then I think I'm gonna make a little bit of a white paint with water to get the right effect, and then just rub it on. Wow, now that the edge banding is on, it just, edge blends right in. I mean, it really does though. So my first coat is this gray, and then once that's all done, we're gonna go back in with some of the tan and some of the white. And we're just gonna play with it a bit. I don't think we have to be like too precise here, you know? We're just trying to get some texture and color. I mean, it's not real texture. It's like eye texture. You know what I mean? Please tell me you know what I mean.
Okay, so with my stain wash paint job, I'm done. And I'm pretty happy with how they turned out. Again, these from Crate and Barrel were $409.99 together. But I only paid $35 for that piece of plywood, about $1.20 for each acrylic paint, so that's $3.60 in paint. And the edge banding cost $8.60, meaning that my total was $47.20, which is laughable compared to $409.
My next item is a wreath from Anthropologie. It's called the Daphne wreath. It's $88 and it gives me like very like Aphrodite Christmas vibes. She sounds expensive, she looks expensive, and we're gonna remake it for a lot less. So to start off, we have this ring. You can find these at Amazon, you can find these at the craft store. And then we have what is called crafting wire. It's usually used for like sculpting and molding things, which is just this like really pliable wire. To cut this, you probably need pliers. So just gonna cut a bunch of pieces of wire. How I wanna do this is wrap the wire around our ring. These will be adjustable after the fact, but the important thing is that you get all these on the wire so that we can just spray paint this whole thing gold. So I'm gonna do that first. So now that I've finished making my weapon, I mean wreath, sorry, this thing just looks so aggressive, but it's necessary. So what I am gonna do is glue on the back side just to like hold these in place. Some of them are okay and they grip pretty well, but some of them slide. And I guess when you're doing this, just make sure they're really bolt tight. I am gonna go spray paint this gold. while my wreath dries, I'm gonna work on the gold leaves that are all around the wreath. I'm gonna cut each piece of cardstock into thirds, and then I'm gonna fold each third in half, and then I'm gonna cut my leaves because each leaf has this like seam in the middle where it's folded. I'm gonna make like a leaf template just like we did the pom-pom kind of thing, and use that template for all the leaves so that they're all pretty similar in sizes. The size of leaf that I've decided to use is 4.75 inches long and about an inch on each side, so 2 inches wide. As you can see here, I have a lot of leaves cut out. I quite possibly could have 100 leaves. And now I have to glue all of them onto the wreath. These will be adjustable after the fact. So even though they're glued on the backside, the hot glue doesn't have the best time sticking to metal. So it's really just so that they don't slide up and down, up and down. I'm just putting on my last 2 leaves. Wow. I don't know about you guys, but this looks amazing. Like, look at it. It looks so luxe, it looks so rich. Just like, you know, you put this on your door and opulence lives here. So now we're gonna go in with a gold leaf foil and glue it to all the leaves just to give another dimension of gold. I'm gonna use just like a regular old school glue. This stuff is really inexpensive. You can get it at the dollar store. And I'm gonna use a brush and just kind of pat it on like really loosely, like almost speckled. And then with my finger, take the gold leaf foil. Okay, I am all done with the foil. It definitely took a little while, but it was really worth it because I love this kind of metal effect that it gave these paper leaves. And what you're gonna do for the last step is just brush off the excess. Okay, so this looks very expensive, but I know it wasn't. And let's see how it compares to the original. In total, I had to spend $5.99 on craft wire, $5.99 on the gold cardstock, $5.99 on 2 grams of gold leaf, and $4.95 for the steel ring. I already had the gold spray paint, but I will include it in the cost, and it costs $12.99. So our grand total is $35.91 compared to the $108.98 that it retails for at Anthropologie. We ended up saving $74.07.
What are you buying with that?
I'm gonna go buy presents for all my loved ones.
So wholesome.
Okay, for this next one, I'm going to be recreating the Anthropologie mat. That is $84. It's the gingerbread house doormat, which is very adorable. But I love painting fine lines for a very long time. So I'm actually excited to make this. I know this is gonna cost less than $84, but let's figure out if it's worth the time. Okay, so the first thing we're gonna do is cut to size. You can see that theirs has these little chimneys and a tiny little peak. So this mat is from IKEA, and I'm just gonna first mark out the shape. When drawing out my shape, I need to cut out a slope for the side of the roof. I'm going to be cutting my mat a little bit shorter just for the aspect ratio of a long house. Of course, my little chimneys and the little peak of the roof. So it's actually really easy to cut through mat. I'm just freehanding it with a utility knife. All you need to do is cut through the rubber part, and then you just like pull apart all the fibers, and it will all stay together. It won't really fray at all. And there we have it. Okay, so the next step is to draw. I tried a pencil, no avail. So this should work. Okay, let's try a black marker. Where are the Sharpies at? Here's a gray marker. Okay, I can kind of see that. Okay, wait, should I do the tape thing? I think I need to do tape. This is helpful though, like to go from like the peak to like here. Okay, I think tape is working.
So I'm gonna lay down the stencil for most of my big straight lines, and I'm gonna get started on painting. Now, for the paints, I'm going to be using a primer. You already have this. I did a lot of research into this. You could be using a Flex Seal, which is like a rubber to really hold up. But we definitely made a matte before, and I think we just used regular old wall paint. So I think using a white primer is definitely gonna hold up, but we did this before in black, and we had no problems at all with fading. So I'm just going off of what I know, what I've done before, and it worked, so. So I think I have a bunch of my, like, anything that needed a stencil or tape done. So really now we're on to the fun part, which is just a bunch of dots and a bunch of like swirls and a couple hearts. And then we're gonna bring this thing together. Okay, I think my mat is done. It is absolutely adorable. I don't know what's more fun, decorating a gingerbread mat or decorating a gingerbread house. Probably the house because then you can eat it. But just a reminder, our Anthropologie mat costs $84 Canadian, 68 USD. And I was able to recreate mine with just a $15 mat, $14.99, and some primer, which is $17.99. I already had it, but in total, that's a $32.98 mat. Huzzah!
Okay, guys.
Rachel's first outro.
Maybe we need bloopers for this. Okay, guys, we had so much fun making these DIYs. I hope you try them out at home, and if you do, please tag us and hashtag TheSorryGirls Squad, because we would love to see them.
I don't know if it's the or Sorry Girl Squad.
What is it, Andrea?
It'll be right.
SorryGirls Squad.
There's no the for some reason. And next week on the Sorry Girls, we're going to be tackling some much needed office upgrades. That is a Loft Vibes episode, so make sure that you are subscribed and have that notification bell turned on so you don't miss that.
I think these colors maybe aren't the freshest for what we're going for.
That's bad. That's real bad. It can't be that.
Oh my God, how are we gonna make that?
Yeah, it needs some work, but it's amazing. Incredible bones.
It's a Bones Day! Good work. Your first one's done.